The Pinball Network is online. Launching
Pinball Party.
Hello. What time is it? It's Pinball Party podcast time.
Figure it out.
Yeah. I thought I was done. You might have thought I was done. I am kind of done. But, okay, this could be either Pinball Party podcast Epi-Prologue. It could be Pinball Party podcast Prologue to a new style, a new way to do it, a new, I don't know, call it whatever you want. But it is not Pinball Party podcast episode 39. Do you know why it's not Pinball Party podcast 39? I'll tell you. Because 38 is my lucky number. Pretty weird. Do you know how I got that lucky number? You don't. That was rhetorical. So, eat shit. Here comes the answer. When I was 7 to 9, during the Nintendo Entertainment System era of my childhood, do you remember being that age when you would get birthday presents from friends, family? Okay, no, specifically friends. You'd get presents from friends, and normally it was something in the, let's say, so this is late 80s. The price that a friend would pay at a under 10-year-old birthday party for a present was like $10 to $20. That was the sweet spot. You never thought you'd get a video game from a friend at that age, at least where I'm from, just a middle-class neighborhood. Middle-class lifestyle, I should say. But I got a video game from one of my friends, a Nintendo Entertainment System game. I was like, what the fuck is this? From my best friend, actually. His name's Brian. The game was called Taboo: The Sixth Sense. And it was fucking terrible. It was bad. But he found it in the like $6 bin at Shopko. I'm not even aware if Shopko is a national chain, but it's like a fucking Walmart. I don't know. Shopko. He's like, well, hey, I figured, a game is better than no game. I'm like, yeah, you're goddamn right it is. We put it in, it's dog shit, all that. However, like the game you would put in, Google it if you'd like, Taboo: The Sixth Sense, it was like a fortune teller game. It would either roll dice and tell you your future or draw cards. Horrible. It didn't make any sense. But the first time I turned it on and pushed a button, something spun or a tarot card and it said, your lucky number is 38. That's the whole story. So I figured the last episode was 38. I've been taking a long break from a lot of things in my life because I'm spinning too many plates. And we're going to leave it at number 38. What is the future of this podcast? I have no idea. It was becoming a lot of work. I needed to take a break. Neon Dale is a lot of work. I needed to take a break. Work is surprisingly not a lot of work, but I do have to have money. So anyways, doing all that stuff, everything just became a little much, a little, into my personal life. So I took a few weeks off of a lot of stuff. And anyway, I was recording a song, working on a chorus. And I thought, why not open up the old podcast template in Logic Pro and talk about pinball? Now, this is going to be tough. I haven't thought about pinball or even talked about pinball aside from a lot of random messages. I should say thank you. And I appreciate the kind words from people saying, hey, where's the podcast? All those types of messages in various flavors. But the overwhelming message under that was, I miss it, and please make more. And that means a lot to me. I'm glad you like it. However, beyond those messages of, where's my podcast that I deserve? Make my content. I haven't really thought about it. Here's what I've done. I've chatted with Zach a little bit over text. Joel, hey man, a little bit. Similar context of, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? I'm like, whatever. So all I've really known is that Venom is kind of out. I think it's out, quote, out. Fuck me, right? I don't know. Is it out? But Joel played a bunch of it on his stream and probably flipping out with fucks or whatever that's called, with buddies and streaming and then I don't know. Do you work for Flipping Out? I don't fucking know. Maybe let's just say, a contract worker. I've watched some of his stream. I've listened to Triple Drain. The only podcast I've listened to for pinball has been that in the last 2 months. Oh wait, nope. Totally wrong. I have listened to Electric Bat's new podcast. I think it's called Electric Bat Podcast. Go check that out. You all may know Rachel and Kale from the Pinball Party Podcast, and better yet, from the Electric Bat Arcade. They started their own podcast. They had a lot of fun joining the ones I was doing. And, we had a lot of plans in the works, and we have a great relationship. Nothing happened there. Again, peek under the hood. Kale and I are still chatting all the time. It's awesome. We didn't break up. We're not boyfriend. And, well, I guess he's married to Rachel, so it's not like boyfriend, spouse marriage. Does that make sense? Me and versus them. We're all still good. We didn't say, fuck this, let's break up. Go do your thing. No, I took a break, and they love podcasts, and so they're going to keep going. Please go listen to Electric Bat Arcade Podcast. Find it at your nearest podcast station. You know how to get them. Why am I even saying this? Let me try to talk about pinball, though, for, I don't know. We'll see how long this goes. I'm not going to break any news because I haven't been paying attention. I own 0 games right now. The last game I had was The Walking Dead Premium, and that took a long time to sell. We all, I guess, know, or at least it was a month ago, the used market is good for buyers, not great for sellers, but it's kind of, at least from my experience, evening out to where it should be. Where it should be. All those newer players who have bought a new machine or new to the hobby in the last, let's say, since mid-COVID, buying a new game at MSRP and losing $500 is the minimum you will lose on in the normal times. Expect to lose $500. It's like getting a new car off the lot. You're going to take a hit immediately, no matter what. Please stop posting your games for over MSRP, even with mods. Don't. Just don't. I'm not going to make fun of you. Just don't. You came in it during a time of COVID where everything was like, oh, buy a new game, maybe even make money. That's just not how the cookie crumbles. Expect to lose a little bit. However, even used games, you're going to lose a little bit. So if new games, let's say to those newish people, a $9,800 premium, you're going to lose $500 if you sell it used, period. Done, period. Pro, same thing. I don't even know what they are new. 69? 6,900? Same thing, 500 new. Let's say you buy a used game. The sweet spot for a used premium right now, just kind of the barometer is 9,000. Give or take. Even Jurassic Park premiums are hard to sell at 9,000. So, 9,000. Godzilla premium, maybe. If you bought a used one for 9,000 stock, you'll probably still lose a couple hundred bucks. A used, probably 8,800. A pro, 6,000 is your new starting point used, give or take a few hundred. That's just, a lot of you know this and you're like, shut up. But for the new people that started maybe during COVID and are like, what the fuck? What's happening to the world of pinball? The world is not crashing. The market is not crashing. It's evening out. It's soft as shit. I had The Walking Dead Premium was my last baby. I loved it. The left bicycle girl ramp was as smooth as any pro I've played or had. It was a gem. For me to be into something, whether it's a hobby, work, maybe not work, something that's important to me, a hobby, my wife, raising a kid, music, I'm either all in, 100%, 500%. I have to milk that shit for all it's worth and give it my all, or I have to be all out. I am not great at the in-between. So in music, I either have to, again, give it my all, best production quality, spend a lot of time on the lyrics, and just be a good musician. That's what I'm getting at. Podcast, same thing. Those who have been listening for a long time can maybe hear a lot of the work being put into the audio quality, the skits, the meth stuff, the tightening, all that. I mean, it takes a lot of work. Sometimes not. Like this one, I'm not going to edit it at all, unless I accidentally say like cunt. But I said cunt, and there you hear it, whatever. So yeah, I may or may not edit. Probably not. Takes a lot of work. So I'm attempting to, as someone who has 0 pinball machines, hasn't thought about it in a month. I shouldn't say it hasn't creeped into my head. I've, of course, thought about getting another Lord of the Rings pinball machine because I am Jason, and that's just how it goes. It's a Monday, so of course I've thought about it. I'm trying to balance pinball. And the amount of people I've met through the hobby, good or bad, that seems to be a struggle with a lot of us. Not to ruminate out loud on it, but you see collections, then you see, you usually see collections, right? It's the old hat of like, oh, you get one, it's going to multiply. I'm trying to self-reflect. Is that a place of, do I want to own games? Questioning myself, do I want to play games? Do I want to make media about the games? And for a good year, I was giving 100% to all of those. You burn the candle at both ends. You spin too many plates. Inevitably, like, bleh, something's got to give. So if I can't do 100% in all those, buying, selling, trading, having fun, playing games, getting to wizard modes, or at least trying to mini wizard, doing all that, making media, doing the sound edits, making skits, I'm trying to find a balance. We'll see. Practice and self-discipline, maybe. At least trying to find balance in something that is not in my core beliefs as a need to survive. And obviously pinball is not, but what I mean by that is what I hold as a pedestal for myself personally, importance in life. The pillars would be myself, but I mean by that is health and, just being self-aware and taking care of myself, going to the gym, mental health, for lack of a better phrase, quitting cigarettes, monitoring how much weed I smoke, which is just relatively low these days, what I eat, what I drink, me. My family, so my wife and daughter and extended family and dog and all those things that come along with family. And music. Those are like kind of my pillars that no matter what, I have to do those things. I have to. Pinball slowly was not really eking into family per se. Music, definitely. And myself, not really. But all those gaps I had to take a breath was getting filled with pinball. I keep repeating this, but this is what I have seen most often when I'm trading and buying and selling used games, is that it becomes this addiction. I guess I can just say that word, but the addiction is different for various people. I know some, when we text locally, some people, for some, the addiction is collecting the game specifically, as in, I have 10 games, look at them, I would like to talk about them and show you. These are bolted to the floor, yada, yada, all those things. The addiction of kind of collecting something. That's not me. I'm not the type to collect something for the sake of, look at my assets and glory upon thee, my self-esteem is tight. No, I have good self-esteem, at least I believe I do, and tying it to items has never really been a thing at that level of, I have 20 machines, I have 50 machines, they're all LEs, they're perfect, I play them once in a while, and I'm dog shit at pinball. That's not me. Bless your heart out there that you do it. Then there's the ones that are addicted to kind of buying really good deals and flipping them for a couple $100. I don't mind the little bit of deals and flipping them, but the LE flippers or the dog shit flippers, fuck off. But there's that kind of addiction. I see a lot of people doing that, monitoring Pinside, monitoring forums, monitoring Facebook. You all know what I'm talking about. Then there's the kind of addiction to the game itself, which is what I am, I guess, closest to, per se. And these are not all negative connotations, I should say. I'm addicted to the game. The enjoyment of the game, the almost obsessive level of enjoying a game. That's closest to where I'm at. The balance I've always found is that because if I play a game, I want to give it 100%. It takes a lot of money. I'm not a billionaire. I don't have the most space everywhere. So balancing the money, the $10,000, let's just say $10,000 for me, because I vacillate between... Vacillate and Vaseline. I think of Vaseline and penis and all that. Whenever I say vacillate, one of those fun words, vacillate. I Vaseline between a pro and a premium and an LE, depending on the flavor of the game. Between all those prices, 10,000 is kind of a medium. So let's say 10,000. It's easy for sake of argument. $10,000 in a game. I get it home. I play the shit out of it for a few days. And then it starts to, creep in of, oh, okay. $10,000 as a kid or as a early 20s or even now, like should bring you $10,000 worth of happiness. Correct? Is what I ask myself. And as that initial honeymoon phase goes down, I'm like, this is stupid. $10,000 could get my wife and I a trip to Europe for like 10 days to do whatever the fuck we want. Why in the hell do I have $10,000 in a pinball machine? What goes through my head? I trade it, I sell it. Fuck, get out of here. And then the anxiety of like, oh my God, am I losing money? I got this 200-pound thing in a room on a game I don't use much. What the hell am I doing? Am I a stupid asshole? That's what goes through my head, but at like rapid speed, And then when that happens, I look at other games. And so then there's that little addiction to the game and needing to constantly have that new game dopamine, new modes, new lights, new sounds, new all of that, just like anything, a video game, all of that. So of those kind of branches, the collectors, the buying and selling, or the getting another one, getting broken games or games that need, quote, a shop job. People that are very addicted, whether it's, again, not negative, but just very like this, their flavor for pinball. Finding very need of shop games, buying them, cleaning them, fixing shit, doing all that, and really getting the joy out of upgrading or doing whatever, bringing it back to snuff so you can sell it used and maybe make a couple $100, maybe break even. And when I say break even, I mean your time and the gas and all of that. Or the hobby to them is really just fixing it. And I really appreciate that. I like that as well. I don't practice that kind of behavior in pinball, but I know a couple people that do, and I actually really love that shit. Yeah, the tinkerers, the improvers, the kind of engineer side of it, as an engineer at heart in a certain way, I like that. So I, in pinball to do it, I kind of do a little bit of all of it, and I'm not a collector. I'm not a fixer-upper. I can do it. I could collect if it was Lord of the Rings or Matrix or whatever theme resonates with me in my heart. Green Day or Tool, things that regardless of pinball, I like anyways. And the playing it for me, it never lasts longer than like a few days of like, oh yeah, it's so worth the money, and then it levels out. But then if I take a step back and I'm like, I got $30,000 in machines that sometimes I won't play for like 2 weeks. That just feels stupid. It feels, I start beating myself up about it. My wife never does. Honestly, there's never family pressure for me personally to watch how much money you spend on pinball, because she trusts me. She knows that I'm responsible with money, and I would be the one way before her to like check myself and like, I got to sell this. We got to make sure to have money for the future and all that. And I do, but I don't know. It's something about the price of admission for pinball that always weighs heavily, or why I'm anxious to find games, or why there's even a pinball wish list, on Pinside. Why do these things exist? It's because they're really expensive and they're like life-changing amounts of money. There is a hefty amount of anxiety that comes with pinball that I have not found in other hobbies. I'm sure there are, but personally in my life, my major hobbies over the millennium, the years, I just want to use a big word. The years have been, oh geez, what have the big ones been? A little bit of sports when I was, the first one, karate. I was in martial arts for a good, 7 years. Not taekwondo, American karate. So for that, minimum like 5 years to get your black belt, with actual work. Black belt test was like 4 hours. It was a real like actual test to like get fucking wrecked. Are you going to pass or not? And I didn't the first time, not because I wasn't good enough. I got X kicked in the head, and kind of half passed out. And a doctor came in and said, hey, you can't finish the sparring of this. You'll have to come back and do it. I did like the 4 hours of the test. And anyway, got my head. That was my first major hobby. Doesn't cost a lot of money, right? It cost maybe my parents a little bit for the, the admission, the price to take it, the classes. But the next big, high school, music. So buying CDs in the 90s, every paycheck went to basically cigarettes, Mountain Dew, a bag of swag, right? $20 for some beaners, stems, and a little bit of weed, make you cough, but got you high. And then CDs at Best Buy. And video games. So video games and music are kind of always there. But as we know, video games are, back then, about $40 to $50 a game. The console was like $200. Now it's inflation, relatively the same, just different numbers. It's expensive, but it's not stupid expensive, at least for the majority of, lower middle class and upper middle class. It's doable hobbies. And then again, music has always been there. Then I owned a pizza restaurant. Yeah. For a few years. I say that's a hobby because that's kind of an all-consuming for entrepreneurs out there that work, 70 to 1,000 hours a week. Just becomes everything. And during that, doing music. And then the next big kind of hobby, home theater. Home theater, and by that, like building theater from scratch, audio, screen, everything, drywall, name it, from nothing. And that's fun. Expensive, yes. But it's kind of like a one-time thing ish. Build it and whatever. One pinball machine will build you an entire home theater, period. Like very nice full home theater that something you can use all the time and tons of people you can use. Then woodworking, another one of mine. And woodworking, building tables, chair. I want to say chairs. I haven't built chairs. All of it, cutting the wood, building stuff. The sanding and the staining, I actually really enjoy the best out of it. Staining and finishing. Most of the furniture in my living room I built, but again, it's wood. It's not that expensive. Maybe during COVID. Then pinball. Holy shit! So out of all those, pinball is it has its own flavor of insanity. So this long way going back to of all the people I meet from trading. And even doing this media stuff, whether it's the Pinball Network, which again, those asking, separating from Pinball Network, is that bad blood? Hell no. Those guys are the shit. It's just my own thing. That's it. I wish them all the best and continue to talk to them, and I'm not a stranger, and this one's even on the Pinball Network. So, hey, fucking Pinball Networks are the best. Or anything against Zach and flipping out? Fuck no. This podcast is still sponsored by Flappin' Bird Pinball.
When I buy my pinball shit, I buy from flipping out. From Topper, Sharply, Dreamy Outs, I've got it figured out. Flipping out, figured out. When I think of pinball, I think flipping out. Flipping out, figured out. When I buy from flipping out. Buy.
The point I keep going all over the place to get to is most of the people I meet are actually not really happy in this pinball. And now we're not going to get deep. Psychological happy. We can't be all happy all the time. What is happily? Thoughts, beliefs, We're not going to go through a lesson here. Maybe bring Zach Meny on sometime but I think you know what I'm talking about. You're listening. Does pinball truly make anyone very, very, very happy? And maybe it's not a bad thing. And maybe it's coming from someone who doing an unhealthy amount of it. And not unhealthy like it's bad for me. In fact, it's good to have hobbies. It's good to have something to dig into. But putting life-changing money into something that gives you like once in a while a little thing, and then to do it again, you need to do it again. Spend the money again, drive again, spend 8 hours driving by yourself, talking to a very small niche group of pinball enthusiasts. I don't know. It needs a balance to me. I see a lot of people out there too. You like, yeah, I have this machine. I collect this stuff. It's like, okay, you have that joy in saying it and done. And now what? You still got it? Is it still fulfilling? Is it really life-changing to you? Is that maybe to some people who make $5 million a year, this is nothing. It's just like video games. It's like, oh, it's a hobby that can come in and out of, like, whatever. I'll hold this LE for years. I might lose 10 grand. I might make 10 grand. That's awesome. But for Stern or anyone else wondering why isn't this growing the size of video games? They know the answer. And that's the answer. And taking a break for, I guess it's been 2 months, and even thinking about pinball, And what I mean by thinking about pinball in this scenario is outside of the pinball network, outside of Kale and Rachel and all the hobbyists and people I've met that text about pinball, outside of all that, I haven't heard any normal or like pinball muggle, right? As they say, any pinball puggle, any puggle say pinball or talk about pinball. Like it just doesn't exist beyond this little core insane group of whack fucks we got here. All you listening and me, we're fucked. Something's wrong with us. Why are we doing this? But the normal people at the bank, I'm not spending that much time at the bank, but at the bank, at the grocery store, at the gym, no one's talking about pinball. Nobody. Never. Has anyone brought up pinball to me in the last 10 years that I didn't initiate, that I know, who isn't in pinball? Probably not. Other hobbies, all the time. Video games, sports, fantasy football, which fuck off. Fantasy football. Video games, sports, hunting, fishing, right? I'm in Wisconsin. Fucking work, right? Work is more important to most people. How's your job? How's work going? Fuck off. Who cares? You don't care. Why are you asking me? I hear more about cancer than I hear about pinball. You know? Like, I got cancer. Fucking damn it. That's horrible. Cancer's more popular than pinball. That's weird, right? I hear more about divorces than pinball. Pinball is so fucking small. So spending all that time doing all that stuff when they quote say, mental health professionals, let's say psychologists, do things that are, I should say the actual word enjoyable with others to make it be something. Otherwise, it can kind of be an addiction if it's just yourself. And in a town where it doesn't have great pinball support, it's got some toxic support out there. Yeah, which is surprising to me. Actual growing community. So there's not a lot of people to do it with around here. A couple. And that sounds like sex, but it's not. I'm not talking about doing it with people or anything. It becomes kind of lonely. And then there's the thing of where, here's a prime example. John, local guy. Hey man, what's up? We were talking about just the other week. He was buying some speakers from some old Flipper Fidelity or some shit. And I was like talking about how maybe I'll get a Lord of the Rings machine. Who knows? Like, why wouldn't I, you know? He's like, oh, you can, he almost jokingly, but he knew it. He's like, oh, you can, you know, if you need a fix, you can borrow mine or play mine for a little bit. And I was like, looking at him like, you know, you got to own it. You know, borrowing a game doesn't do it. And he's like, no, I get it. I know. And that just says something, right? It's like you have to own something to feel the joy. I say you, not all of you listening. Maybe it's me, you know, introspectively, to enjoy it. And that's fucked up. It's different with video games. You borrow video games forever and you play it and done, but something about owning a pinball machine, and it's that like cleaning it and looking at, maybe feeling accomplished because we're all like a bunch of middle-aged white males who make a bunch of money, so we have ego problems and we think that our opinion matters because money says it does. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we get together and then do some stuff here or there with pinball, or check out what I did or what I got and talk about this stuff. But there's not a lot of social part to it. It's a strange, isolated hobby. Like everyone like screams. I say that proverbially, like I am media, like, oh, look what I'm doing on Pinside, all this stuff. Look what I do, pinball. But no, I'm going to keep all these games to myself. I'm going to look at them myself. Am I precious, you know? Wish Dennis Creasel was on here. He could do his little Smeagol impression, but I can't. It's just weird. And to say all that, what I just said in the last, looks like 29 minutes, goes through my head like all day, every day of pinball. It drives me fucking bonkers. So what better way to calm all those voices in the past than to throw it into this podcast, make some funny shit, bring guests on, get to know a lot of people's balls, just, you know, fill the void of like, this should be fun. Why, like spending all this money playing pinball machine, but instead I'm spending all this time doing, well, sounds like the social side of it, right? I slowly moved to talking with Kale and Rachel all the time, and Zach and Joel, and part of the TPN. And what became the hobby, what became the joy from pinball was honestly the community, the media making community, and also the obsessive community of it. And making choices based on that has been just cloudy. Yeah, to be honest. And I'm still figuring it out. Okay, I'll put one here.
Figure it out.
It's not technically editing. I'm just adding in sound effects, dragging and dropping from my pinball party folder. Yeah, I'm still trying to see what I'm going to do with all this. But I know what I can do right now to fill a little time and talk about pinball. Let's web surf our way over to pinside.com. This is a toxic cesspool of a bunch of maniacs, you and myself, who buy, sell, trade games, lie to each other, overvalue our games. Just a little snapshot, melting pot of crazy fucking people with too much money. Let's just go over to forums. Let's just pop in and see what's happening. I kind of feel weird, like a voyeur. I haven't been here in a while, and I'm going to the forums. I'm just going to see what's on people's minds. What are people talking about? Number one right now, as of noon 30. What is on the line at Stern Pinball? God, this shit. What's on the line at Stern Pinball? Imagine, what's on the line at the manufacturer for Call of Duty at Best Buy. What a weird fucking thing. What's on the line? Games that'll be coming. Weird. I'm sure Zach and Dennis are doing production updates and all that, but I bet, what are we looking at here? Stern has games on the line, of course. I'm not going to look for the list. Okay, so stupid. That was bad. Looking at forums, the first one was what's on the line, who cares? Second one, a Centaur for sale. Okay. The interactive figure for Godzilla's. Okay, yep. People are still Godzilla's. 007 Owners Club. That's popping. Holy shit, that's popping. James Bond. Who knew? It's getting better, maybe? I don't know. Write in Pinball Party Podcast, but I guess. I don't know. Tell me if Bond's good or not. Stern Godzilla Owners Thread. Godzilla, Addams Family Scratch Build, Stock Market Traders, the next spooky pin. I know what it is. Do they know what it is in here? Let's see. Do people know? Maybe. Has it been announced? I don't fucking know. Hey, I know what it is, but it's not there. Maybe. Next spooky pin. New Triple Drain on the... Okay, yeah. Hey, go listen to Triple Drain Podcast. This week they go through Venom like crazy. So I could talk about Venom, but I haven't played it. I've only watched Joel play it. So go listen to Triple Drain. They talk about Venom a lot. It sounds interesting. I mean, the roguelike is all I remember jizzing about when I was talking about it. It's probably still awesome. My TLDR is it doesn't take long to beat. So maybe make sure there's enough content to keep going. Halloween Owners Thread, Simpsons Pinball Party, the Owners Thread. Every time I see that game now, I think of this podcast. Star Wars Premium for sale. Cactus Canyon for sale. Whatever. That is some boring shit. Having a different perspective, that forum is just sad. No offense. Not like, oh, you guys are all pathetic. No, I'm just like, the sparkle to it is gone from me. Let's see what's for sale. Galactic Tank Force LE. Don't buy that. Rick and Morty Bloodsuckers Edition. Don't buy that. Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast Premium 9200. Yeah, okay. A normal person. Led Zeppelin Premium 8500. Good luck. That's not going to happen. Fishtails 5400. Correct. The Shadow 7000 OBO. What's wrong with you? And it's not even okay, let's find out what's wrong with you. All right. 7,000 for a Shadow. Let's, of course, take a quick look at the magnet, which you would think would have a close-up picture if you're asking for $7,000 for a fucking Shadow. No powder coat. No color DMD. Holy shit. So don't pay that much for that. Let's look at the ghosting. Yeah, this is fun. Okay. Playfield's actually pretty fucking perfect. Okay. It's not worth $7,000. Get out of here. Good luck. Hey, Godzilla Pro for $6,600. Good luck. Not going to happen. Star Trek LE for $11,000 OBO. Okay, well, your price should be $10,500 if you have a color DMD. Otherwise, $10,000 even. Maybe even a little less if you don't have the mirror blades for the LE. Moving on. The Shadow. Look at this guy. Right below the other Shadow for $7,000, we got a Shadow for $6,000 OBO. Correct. Oh, you did it. You did it. This guy knows what he's doing. I'm not even gonna put the sound effect in, but you know what I mean. He's got it figured out. Star Wars Premium, 8,200 OBO. For sale or trade, Ghostbusters Premium with Pin Stadiums, 12,500. Okay. What is this? Iron Man? Is this Vault Edition? No, get fucked. I only want Vault Edition. That's something I want. I do want to. I'm already back in it. I'm not really, but I'm just saying. I miss Iron Man Vault Edition. That game's great. If I can get one for $6,000, please email in. I'll happily buy it from you. Good condition, please. That's a game that I like to be shiny. Oh, and look, this Tron Legacy that was here when I stopped doing this before. Relisted 3 times, of course. What's wrong with you in this price? That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Same old pin side, right? Fuck. It's nuts. Well, what's gonna, I guess, happen going forward in the pinball world? I believe. I mean, Jaws will become, quote, Jaws might be coming sometime from Keith Elwin, a world-renowned pinball architect. That'll be great. Venom, if you're reading the tea leaves, it'll do fine. Whatever. It's just Venom. Mystery game, still a mystery. I take it. Yeah. Okay. Stranger Things. Yeah. Okay. Rumored. Oh, can I talk about next year? Maybe there's a rumored Spike 3 next year, maybe? I don't know. Fuck, maybe. Probably. See what happens. But yeah, with the new facility and, what I find strange is that the used market and with dealers having so much stock, do you really need that second place to make more games? You going to keep doing it? The market is only so big. Again, hence the reason I took kind of a break on this. Is it worth spending so much time making really top tier content for a market it's not like video game size or podcast world, true crime size? This is different. You have to really want to. And I, for a while, I haven't really. Today I wanted to say hello to all those fellow listeners and the people that, again, wrote in. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I'm still alive. I'm not dead. I'm not gone. Am I going to get back on a weekly, bi-weekly schedule of this? Maybe, maybe not. But I do know I need to just do it when I want to, when it's fun for me, when it actually brings me joy. I'm not doing this for you. Not to say that as in I'm not, I guess. I'm not. Why am I defensively saying that? I'm doing this for me. It's fun. I enjoy making audio stuff. I don't need the notoriety. I do appreciate when people email in. I really do. But I need to find a balance where I'm doing this for me. I'm playing pinball for me. I'm making this content for me. I still want to make a good, quote, product, but yeah. So thank you for your patience. If you want to keep going down this ride and finding out what I do with the Pinball Party podcast, it has its own stream now as well. This is the last one on the Pinball Network. So if you want to listen to the Pinball Party podcast, just search Pinball Party podcast in your, pod thing. I'm explaining again. We all know it. If you found this, you know how to find Pinball Party podcast. But yes, Pinball Party podcast will be going forward on its own separate feed. Please keep listening to the Pinball Network, all the gems on there, from the Pinball Show to Triple Drain to Silver Ball Chronicles to Innovators to last round. Fuck me, I can't even remember this shit. Please go listen to Electric Bat Arcade Podcast. Great couple of fellas, a guy and a gal. They'll probably come back on here. I don't know. Maybe I'll go on there. They're still very good best friends of the show. Hello, Kale. Hello, Rachel. They will have all the what's earning on location, all that stuff. Go there. It's the source for on-location pinball stuff. And congrats, Kale, on kicking ass at the tournament last weekend. First place. That's a tough motherfucker. Kale Hernandez, he kicks ass. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go finish a couple verses for a song and part of a chorus. I don't know. Just, I'll put in... fuck it. I'll still put in a demo here. Working on music. Thanks for listening. My name's Jason. pinballpartypodcast at gmail.com if you want to email in. Otherwise, talk to you maybe later. Okay, see you.
Thinking of a new life, just like always. Ready for a new fight, just like always. And I can't feel anything, can't feel, just like always. Just like always, I've got too much on my mind. And I keep on spinning wheels, wasting my time. Waking up at midnight, just like always. Tell myself it's alright, just like always.